Hello, I'm Daniel. Thank you for tuning in to watch my video. I wanted to talk about a few things that people sometimes say to me. So sometimes when people find out I lead meditation or I teach meditation or even just that I meditate, there are things that people often say. And I'm talking about in a general casual situation. I'm not talking about in a teaching situation, but in a casual situation, people say things, often some version of, "That's so cool. I wish I could calm my mind down enough to meditate, but I can't." Or some other version of wishing they could do it, thinking it's cool, wishing they could do it, because of course they think it's easy for me. So people often say things like that. People think meditation is kind of cool. And I find that question very weird. But there's one question that I find a little bit stranger than that one that I get sometimes, and that is, I wish I had time to meditate. I wish I had the time. I'm so busy. I want to meditate, but I have a very active life. So it's with that in mind that I'm going to just answer the question, how does one make time to meditate when I have a busy schedule? How does one make time to meditate when I have a busy schedule? And I want to start by saying, sometimes people think when they meet me, when they learn about me, they think like, how are you able to have time to meditate? You have 4 kids. How are you able to have the time to do that? And to that I say, I don't know how I could have 4 kids and not meditate. I don't know how I could have 4 kids and not meditate, because it's self-care. I need it, right? It helps me. And that's the point. It is flossing. It is eating vegetables. It is a thing that we know we should do. We know is good for us. So then we have to just get ourselves to do it by whatever means are necessary, because we do know it's good for us. And there's a lot, and I do love to compare it to flossing, because flossing is something that we all know we should do. We all know it's very good for us, and we don't do it. I don't, and I don't think you do. So I do like to compare meditation to flossing. So the answer to the question, how does one make time to meditate in a busy schedule, is you have time when you make time for it. If someone says they don't have time to meditate, I don't believe them. I don't believe them, because I'm not going to lie to you, but I've fallen off the cushion a lot of times. And I set an intention to meditate more than I do. I set an intention to meditate more than I do. I lead meditation every Monday, and I do a short meditation right after the kids go to bed, when I put the kids to bed. And other than that, I'm irregular. And I wish I could say I meditate for 30 minutes every day, but I don't, and that would be dishonest. But that being said, though, I have time, and you have time too. The truth is, though, it is really easy to not meditate. We have 10 million distractions around us all the time. The thing about the modern world is there are 10 million ways to distract ourselves, right? But if you don't have time to meditate, you think you're wrong. I think you're wrong. And the truth is, we don't have to dedicate an hour to practice, or even worse, 90 minutes. We don't even have to set aside half an hour if that is really hard to do on our schedule. Even simply sitting for 10 minutes or 5 minutes can bring enormous benefit. Or if that's too hard, even meditating once a week can bring benefit. What we need to do, though, is have a regular time, a regular plan in our schedule. This is when I meditate. We need to do that, because if we don't do that, we're probably not going to meditate at all. So having a schedule, having a set time in place, okay, at this place, at this time, I'm going to do this much meditation, is really, really important, because it's very easy not to do. I could easily not meditate and watch Netflix instead, or even not meditate and do helpful things like dishes, right, or cleaning. I can do all sorts of things. I have many, 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 many ways to take myself away from meditation if that's what I want to do. And I imagine you do too, right? And when I first started meditating many years ago, that my strategy was, I'm just going to meditate when I feel like it. And of course, if you've ever tried that strategy, you know that led to not meditating, hardly meditating at all, because I didn't feel like it, because I would forget, and because I would have other things distracting me, or I'd be like, oh, I'm not going to meditate today, I'm kind of tired, right? If we can make the kind of tired excuse, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. The thing is, meditation is like anything else that we're trying to get better at. It's just like going to the gym or practicing guitar or painting. You just don't get good at it right away. You just don't. You don't get good at it unless you practice over and over. And I think a lot of people meditate and they do it once or twice or 3 times and they don't see benefits right away. And they think it was going to be something different than it is, and they quit. I think a lot of people fall into that trap. But the important thing is routine. Routine. Set aside time right before bed, right after you put the kids to bed, like I do. Go to a weekly meditation session somewhere. Set a timer on your phone and do it either right before bed or you can do it right before you wake up. When I first started practicing, that was my practice. And at some point, I decided nighttime was better. But originally, I had decided morning was better for me. And I think that's okay also to change over time. But the point is that you have a plan. Because when you don't have a plan, you're going to have a really tough time keeping it together. So we're going to do a little bit of meditation here. And I hope you'll do it with me, but this concludes the talk. So if you just wanted to hear the talk and you don't want to do the meditation, I guess you could stop listening now. But I think the meditation's very good, and you should pause and come back when you're able to meditate if you're not able to meditate right now. And if you are able, you should do it right now. Please do it with me. So I always start by talking about posture. I want you to sit up as straight as you can. Sit up as straight as you can. I'm in a chair, which is not my normal practice. Normally I sit on the floor in the half lotus position, but I'm in a chair today because it's easier to make videos in a chair. But I do recommend sitting on the floor on a pillow or cushion. But if you're in a chair like me, sit with your feet firmly planted on the floor and your back. You don't want to lean back like this. I don't consider this meditating. You want to sit forward if you're in a chair. And have a plan for what your hands are doing. I like to recommend what I call the bowl, which is one hand on top of the other, thumbs gently touching, resting in your lap. The other thing I would recommend is called relaxation. It's just hands on your knees. I recommend either one of those, whichever one of those sounds better to you. And I like to do an eyes open practice. So what I do is I have my gaze a little bit downward and I look at something that's not going to distract me. If you like an eyes closed practice, I think that's okay too. The point is that we're not distracted by things we see. And I have found that closed eyes make me daydream more, so I don't do that. I do this. And we'll begin with a practice called the healing breath, and that is a very slow breath, where we breathe into the count of 5, we hold our breath to the count of 5, and we breathe out to the count of 5. I don't have any sort of timer with me, though, so we're going to hope I can count to 5. So we're going to do 3 rounds of this. So a breath takes 15 seconds, okay? So breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out. We'll just do one more. Breathe in. Hold your breath. Breathe out. So what I want to try to do with you is the practice that's called silent illumination. It's also called shikantaza, It's also called just sitting. It's also called do nothing. And then what we do in this practice is we just sit. We don't have a focus. We're not trying to watch our breath. We're not trying to scan our body. We're not trying to bring attention to any specific thing. We're not trying to listen. We're just sitting here being with our experience. Being with our experience. So some people find this very difficult. To me, it is the best practice, is the practice without an anchor, where we just sit and we're present. We just sit and we're present. Some people call this a form of vipassana as well. You may have heard that word, vipassana. Some people call it that. But it's just being present. And so when thoughts come into my mind, I just notice thoughts in my mind. I just notice the way my body feels with the chair underneath me, with the floor beneath my feet, with the microphone, my hand is touching. I just notice the way the temperature feels, the way the clothes feel on my body. I notice all the sounds I hear. I notice thoughts coming and going in my mind. Just noticing everything, but not putting our attention on anything. Just noticing all of our experience and not putting attention on anything. That's the goal. So with that being said, just try to be aware of your experience. Just what they say is be here now. Just try to be here now. And we'll just do that for a few minutes. And if you have a scratch, if you have an itch rather that you need to scratch, I say just go scratch the itch, get back to your sitting position. Just get it over with as quick as you can, because it's a big distraction if you have an itch and you are just thinking about your itch, right? So that's what I say. Some people say don't scratch no matter what. That's not what I say. So we're going to sit and just be fully present. Just be with your experience. We'll just do this for a few minutes, just trying to be fully here. All right. And that concludes our meditation as I hear a child has come through my front door. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and have a good day. Have a good day.